Renzo Gang. Today. I wouldn't say today's a sad day, but today's definitely an emotional day because last night, December 13th, 2025, last of a dying breed, John Cena has officially retired from wrestling. You heard me correctly. John Cena has officially retired from wrestling. Yes, the one that wear the camel shorts, the jean shorts, the jorts, all that. John Cena, that you can't see me. My time, your time is up, my time is now. That John Cena has retired last night. And I just want to touch on Saturday night's main event and his whole retirement tour thing, his retirement tour dates. And I do want to touch on the fans because like y'all were wild last night. Unfortunately, I never got the opportunity and the chance to ever see John Cena compete. I probably would have had WWE not, canceled his, his tour dates that he requested because he requested like over 200 something tour dates for his retirement tour, but they knocked it down to 36. That's why a lot of times John Cena was rushing a lot of his tour dates a lot because he didn't have a lot of time. And I was not really happy at the fact that he retired at Saturday night's main event. I was not happy about that at all. Nor was I happy about his opponent he retired from, Gunther, because Gunther recently retired Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. I was not well. I don't really care for Goldberg. I never really have. But John Cena is a different story. Like it's other superstars that could have retired Cena, such as Dirty Dominic Mysterio was one of my picks. Solo Sokoa. Um, who else? Carmelo Hayes. And this one would have been a perfect one, Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu was injured, so he never got a chance to even compete in the My Last Time Is Now tournament. So I was not too pleased. Oh yeah, and last night, LA Night. I was not too pleased about Gunther retiring John Cena, but Gunther kind of needed that push after he lost his World Heavyweight Championship because after he lost to CM Punk, it's like he kind of got stale a little bit. So he had to go and regroup himself and then come back and be one of the biggest heels in the company right now. Like it's bad to the point where he had to have security escort him out of the arena last night because of the fans. Like the fans, when Cena lost last night, the fans like that whole arena went quiet. When I was watching it last night on Peacock, the arena went quiet. Like when I tell you when John Cena lost, the arena went quiet. It was so many fans that cried, and then after he left out, they gave him a little tribute. He took off his arms and wristbands and his shoes, walked out the arena, and that was the last time. Like John Cena really meant what he said. He's gonna be one of those legends that actually do what he says he's gonna do and actually stay out the ring. Like a lot of y'all other goats in wrestling, like they need to take his advice. It's like a lot of y'all like 70 plus, 80 plus years old still trying to compete. John Cena ain't even 50 yet, and he's like, you know what, this is it, and this is it. And a lot of people, of course, you got people out there that hate Cena, and they know we're happy that he retired. So I just want to touch base on that because a lot of people are very upset about how the match was booked. For those of you that don't know, Cena's his trademark, hustle, loyalty, respect, and never give up. Well, unfortunately, last night in his final match, Cena tapped out. Yes, John Cena, he tapped out. But everyone's blaming Triple H, and Triple H is getting so much hate right now. But that was John Cena's decision to tap out because he wanted to. John Cena literally said himself he wanted to put over superstars. And that's what a lot of people are failing to realize. He put Gunther over. And a lot of legends in wrestling, yeah, like y'all say that John Cena is one of those superstars that buries talent when there's other people before him that buried talent. And no offense to Triple H, he's buried plenty of talent, way more than Cena has. Hulk Hogan's done it. A lot of these legends have buried talent. And then a lot of these older, legends as our goats didn't want to put over the young talent. So now, where was all that energy? When John, he's trying to, he's giving back to the company. At least he's giving back to the company, and a lot of it was like you had last night. You had Javon Evans, NXT Rising Superstar, compete last night. So Ruka, NXT Superstar, she's the longest reigning North American Women's Champion in NXT history, and she beat Bayley last night. And then you had Obafemi, the two-time NXT champion, face Cody Rhodes, even though that match ended in a no disqualification because of Drew McIntyre. But at least John Cena is one of those legends that's actually wanted to give back to the younger talent that he's paved the way for. A lot of the older talent, that y'all call goats and that y'all love so much, they're selfish. They're not gonna do that. So that's one thing about John Cena I really do respect. At least he's given other superstars talent. Now don't get me wrong, John Cena has buried talent before, but at the same time, at least he's giving back. And at the same time, if you actually sat and watched John Cena and was actually a fan of him, you actually realize that even under Vince's control, John Cena kind of in a way was kind of punished a little bit for burying talent. You can see he like it was one point in his career where he had like a bad couple years and he was like literally getting punished. Like I mean, John Cena was like getting punished. So you can't sit there and say John Cena this person that with that golden shovel burying talent because he was actually getting punished and he was not bigger than the company. As much as I love Roman Reigns, he's not even bigger than the company, even though Roman Reigns kind of one of the reasons why, the company's where it's at right now. But we're not talking about Roman, we're talking about John Cena. And to be honest with you, a lot of like a lot of fans, y'all have to realize that was John Cena's decision to tap out, like because he was running out of time on his tour, and unfortunately he gave everything he gave, and John Cena he's you can tell John Cena was ready to hang it up, and he wanted to go out on his own terms. And if John Cena would have won, a lot of y'all would have been mad that like why he buried Gunther. Like no, he didn't bury Gunther. He put Gunther over, which making Gunther like the biggest heel in the company right now, like literally the biggest heel in the company. But and also I want to touch bases on John Cena when he wanted to do those overly 200 something days for his tour, but the company said they only need 36 dates. And to be honest with you, John Cena's heel run, like they ruined John Cena's heel run. Like I don't care what nobody say, John Cena's heel run was ruined. It had the potential to be, something amazing and something great to go down in history, but his heel run just really, really went stale. Like that was probably like the worst time I've ever seen John Cena compete. Like I was actually shocked and happy that he went heel. I'm like, it's about time. Like he should have been went heel. And to be honest with you, I was not expecting him to break Ric Flair's record and become 17-time world champion. I would much rather John Cena to get the IC title, have that belt for a while, become Grand Slam champ. I really wanted John Cena to become Grand Slam more than him getting 17-time world champion. Honestly, I feel like he shouldn't have been the one to beat Ric Flair's record, but here we are. I was actually happy that he became Grand Slam, but at the same time, what was the purpose of having him beat Mysterio, have that belt for like 2 weeks, and then just to lose it right back? That didn't make any sense to me. So I will say, like, some of John Cena's booking was trash. I didn't like and I didn't respect it. Just like his heel run, like y'all, they dropped the ball on John Cena's heel run. They really dropped the ball. And then as far as y'all, turning down his ideas of having like if I'm not mistaken, 220 dates for his retirement tour. Y'all could have had that going because we could have had John Cena retire at WrestleMania. We could have had, excuse me, John Cena could have came to North Carolina because unfortunately, like I said in the beginning of this video, I never got a chance to see John Cena compete, and John Cena was one of the first superstars that I watched when I got back into wrestling to actually understand wrestling. When I started, because I started out watching wrestling during the Monday Night Wars. The Attitude Era is for the wrestling fans that are very young and new that don't know anything. The Attitude Era between WWE, well, WWF at the time, and WCW. And that's when I first started watching it, but I was very young, so of course I didn't understand it. And then I didn't get back into wrestling until the Ruthless Aggression era, which was the era which you had your four main people, which were John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. But unfortunately, Batista and John Cena they retired, and Brock he's getting ready to retire next year. But we're not gonna talk about Brock Lesnar. I'm not. Honestly, I don't really care for Brock no more. And all this energy that y'all having towards Cena needs to go towards Brock after what, especially what's happened, with the situation. The energy needs to go towards Brock and not Cena. At least Cena ain't do that stuff that Brock has done. But anyway, and to be honest, his tour dates definitely they could have had him at least I was maybe not the whole 220, but at least 100 something dates instead of 36 dates. Because Cena actually could have made a trip to North Carolina because, like I said, he was one of my favorite wrestlers, and I wanted to see John. And last night, professional wrestling has overshadowed sports entertainment. John Cena was a sports entertainer. He wasn't a wrestler like everyone can say, oh, John Cena, he can't wrestle, he's trash. John Cena was a sports entertainer. And then on top of that, if you looked at his matches in his early career, John Cena was a brawler. He was not a technician at all. John Cena was not a technical wrestler. He was not getting down on that mat, doing crazy, technical wrestling moves. He was a brawler. John Cena did a lot of last man standing matches, a lot of hardcore matches, no holds barred matches. John Cena was doing those type of matches, street fight matches. Like John Cena was a brawler. He was not a technician. So of course, you got people out there like he can't wrestle. I'm like, well, can y'all wrestle? Because a lot of y'all can't wrestle either, and a lot of y'all don't know wrestling. So John Cena was a brawler, not a technician. Like I keep trying to tell people, he was not a technician. He was a brawler. Like for example, Moxley wasn't really. He's not really. Well, now he is, but he's more so of a hardcore brawler, not a technician. There's a difference between professional wrestling and sports entertainment. But obviously, John Cena was never, a professional wrestler, and even in his heel run, he did say, I'm gonna ruin professional wrestling, and I'm not gonna lie, he did do that. But the people that booked his heel run, they ruined it. Honestly, like this year of wrestling has been kind of like when it came to like the booking stages, it was not, it just wasn't it. WrestleMania 41, the build up to it could have been good, but they dropped the ball on him when The Rock had John Cena turn heel, and that was just terrible. Like at first it was good, but then it started just getting stale. It just started getting stale, and I'm like, this is not John Cena. Like this is not the heel Cena that we wanted. The perfect time would have turned John Cena heel was after he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 28, and then the night after when Brock Lesnar returned. That would have been the perfect time to turn John Cena heel. That would have been the perfect time to turn him heel, and then have a little redemption arc for him later on. But it is what it is. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not broke down crying about it, but it is emotional because like he was the last of a dying breed. And then now you got Randy Orton. He don't have that much. Well, Randy Orton's going to compete as much as he can, but when Randy retires, it's going to be a sad day too. But I know 2026, AJ Styles is retiring, and I did get the privilege of seeing AJ Styles earlier this year in February when I went to Monday Night Raw in Charlotte, and I was very happy to see AJ Styles. He's one of my favorite professional wrestlers of all time. I'm glad I got to see AJ Styles compete. That's all I wanted to see was AJ Styles compete, and I finally did. And I will be sad when AJ retires. And when he retires, he's not going to have he doesn't want a retirement tour like John Cena did. He doesn't want that. He's not even going to tell anybody when his last match is. He's just going to have matches, and then he's just going to up and disappear. Just like when he was Undertaker's very last opponent at the Boneyard match at WrestleMania during COVID. That was, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm like, where was all this crying and all this carrying on when Undertaker retired? I guess what everybody did when Undertaker's streak was broken by Brock Lesnar. Even though Brock at the time he did not want to break it, but Undertaker was like, I need him to do it. And I do want to say a lot of times, like as I gotten older, and I understood wrestling. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I got tired of Cena, but at the same time, I was still always gonna be a fan of John Cena. He's not my favorite of all time, but he's definitely one of the goats of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I will say he definitely is one of the goats. Nobody has done this much service in wrestling like John Cena has. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care if you try to compare him with this person, especially in like in the era after the Attitude Era. No one has done what John Cena has done. Now, don't get me wrong. Like when it comes to like the numbers and the revenue, Roman has done that, but he has not. He has not been there as long as John Cena has. That's why a lot of people say John Cena is the greatest of all time, and I do agree with that because of not only what he's done inside the ring, but outside of the ring. That's what makes him the greatest of all time. So, like a lot of people, say he's not the GOAT. I mean, well, that's your opinion. We don't need everyone, arguing about. At the end of the day, is this is wrestling, y'all. Y'all have to like the fans. Some of y'all have to like really, y'all have to like separate wrestling from like real life. Like a lot of people are really throwing a lot of hate towards Triple H right now because the fans were chanting "you effed up," and then they were chanting "Baldy," and then they were chanting AEW, and I'm like, wow, like fans, y'all have really got to like take all of that negativity out. Just y'all got to stop because like it's toxic and it's not healthy. And I know Triple H is not bothered by it, but at the same time, like you can tell, it's kind of getting to a point where it's getting old. Like you can't please everybody, and you can't please everybody. And even if John Cena would have beaten Gunther, it would have been a lot of people hating John Cena for beating Gunther, saying he buried Gunther. Like no, there's been a lot of superstars John Cena has put over, but the people booking those superstars that John Cena put over, the booking buried them, not John Cena. The booking buried them. So y'all have got to. A lot of y'all don't know the business. Whoever superstars that John Cena has put over and like later on in their careers, like they didn't do anything. That's not on John Cena. That's on the booking, not John Cena. Like y'all have got to stop saying, John Cena, buried Austin Theory or so it's called. No, the booking buried them, not John Cena. John Cena's actually put them over. Y'all got to get out of that mindset, and y'all got to learn the business. And it's crazy. Like I'm not a professional wrestler, but I know the business more than a lot of y'all wrestling fans do. And a lot of y'all wrestling fans, like y'all are not real wrestling fans. Like a lot of y'all should know. A lot of y'all know that John Cena was not a wrestler, but y'all just loved him because he was cool. He was Superman for the kids. But sometimes you got to kind of separate sports entertainment from professional wrestling from sports entertainment. And a lot of times the entertainment is going to outshine and overshine the actual wrestling part. We all know that. I hate that, but it happens. It's going to happen. But John Cena, he wasn't famous for his wrestling ability. We all know that. We all know that. And but no one has outworked Cena when it comes to like putting up for the company, and giving back to the company as much as John Cena has. And of course I'm not praising John Cena, but I am saying that he's definitely one of those. There will never be another John Cena, just like there will never be another Stone Cold. There'll never be another Rock. There'll never be another Undertaker. Shawn Michaels, another Bret Hart. John Cena is definitely one of those. He cemented his legacy. There will never be another John Cena, and he's definitely not professional wrestling, but just wrestling in general and sports entertainment. John Cena will always be at the top of the list and the Mount Rushmore. And for all my fans out there that actually cared about John Cena last night, I hope y'all doing okay. Cause I'm not gonna lie, it was emotional, but I was a fan of John Cena too. But at the same time, I realized like John Cena, he's given everything he's given, and as long as he's been there, if I was in John Cena's situation, I would have been like, yeah, it's time to hang it on up. Like because at the end of the day, your body and all that stuff, is wearing down on your body. Like he's even said plenty of times where he can't, physically perform like he used to. So and I respect that about John Cena. But if you got other guys out here that's old as dirt that can barely move and that's gas when they walk into the ring trying to compete, and then it's like y'all be like, yay, that's my goat. No, that's like that's trash. Like for example, when Goldberg came back, I'm like, when Goldberg came back, I was like, okay, like Cena can wrestle better than Goldberg. I'm sorry, but Get mad all you want. Cena can wrestle better than Goldberg. I said it. Goldberg, he just didn't have time to actually learn the wrestling part of his career. All he did was just spear, jackhammer, and that was it. John Cena actually did a lot more than just, the five knuckle shuffle, the shoulder tackle, and all this, that, and the. He did a lot more than that, especially in his early career. John Cena did a lot. Like, John Cena did a lot. There's a lot of stuff that you guys say that he calling out his moves and he's sorry. I'm like, first of all, he's older and he even admitted to himself that he can't physically do everything that he used to do back in the day. So of course you're going to get a limited stuff of him in the ring. You're going to get that. Like, wrestling is going to take a lot out of your body. Just like, for example, like if you're a martial artist, it's going to take a lot out of your body, especially when as the older you get, you're not going to physically perform like you used to, people. Y'all have got to realize that John Cena is almost 50. He's going to limit himself in the ring. Do y'all not realize that? Y'all have got to understand, like, y'all don't, that's what irritates me with y'all fans out there. That's what irritates me with y'all, especially y'all keep saying, John Cena can't wrestle. I'm like, he can't do the stuff he used to do physically. He's almost 50. He even said that. But then y'all got guys like Ric Flair and, Jeff Jarrett that barely can move, and y'all still calling them the goats. Like, and no offense to Sting, like Sting was old as dirt, and he's still trying to compete and wrestle. I'm like, no, stop it. But that was my little rant. But anyway, like John Cena, I just want to send this message out to you, Jonathan Felix Anthony Cena Jr. I thank you. I thank you for your service, John Cena. You did a lot for the company. I really appreciate you. You made my childhood so great. Like you definitely made my childhood great, and you definitely made wrestling, worth watching again for a little bit. Then when people, even when people hated you, you still made it worth our while. I still watched it because of you and other superstars. But I thank you, John Cena. You've done so much, especially for the children, for the Make a Wish Foundation. No one has outdone you with that, and I really respect you for that. Now you can finally ride off in the sunset. Go to Hollywood, do what you want to do. I'm just thankful. I'm still mad at you for not coming to North Carolina, even though that kind of wasn't your fault because they turned down your tour dates. But I'm still mad that you didn't come to North Carolina. I never got a chance to actually see you compete. I never got a chance to see you compete, John Cena. But I'm just happy that you went out the way you wanted to go, and I'm happy that I was that you one of the reasons why I got back into wrestling. Thank you so much for a lot that you have done. Like, thank you, John Cena, and I appreciate you. Hustle, loyalty, respect, always. You definitely deserve going to the Hall of Fame. You deserve it, and I'm just very happy that I'm happy that you went out on your own terms, and I'm happy that you wanted to do what you wanted to do, and I'm happy that you finally became Grand Slam champion. I was waiting on you for the longest time to become Grand Slam champion, Cena. I thank you, and I appreciate you, John Cena. Appreciate you, John Cena. But post your comments down below. Let me know what you thought for all my wrestling fans out there. If you enjoyed what I had to say about John Cena, you already know what to do, Renzo Gang. I love y'all, and I appreciate every last one of y'all. I thank y'all so much for coming back. Just watching my channel. It's almost been a year since I've done this YouTube, and I'm gonna continue putting in more. Hopefully, I can do. Hopefully, I can do this as long as Johnson has done wrestling, y'all. But and as far as you, John Cena, happy retirement, and I thank you for your services again. Appreciate you, John Cena. Do 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 do. You can't see me,